Well, hi again. It's me, Carpo, and I'm coming at you from the school bus. I haven't made a video out here in a while. There was a time where I made quite a few. I even filmed the whole process and would make videos from the back, and now that it's done, it's been sitting here, it's become something I'm accustomed to and I kind of take for granted. This seems to be the way that everything happens in our lives. No matter how awesome a thing is or a situation is, eventually it loses that luster. This is just like part of life and something we have to accept. That you're not ever going to feel that initial high or feeling that you got from a situation or a place or a person or a drug, and that what we have to do is look for deeper meaning within our lives. And so, to start this, it's a difficult topic to discuss, which is about rationality and how we are often pride ourselves on being rational people. And being rational is not really a be-all, end-all of human behavior, in my opinion. In fact, we see it leading to, it's been, there have been many metaphors and examples of it in sci-fi movies. You think of the Vulcans, right? Spock, okay? He's always rational. He's willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good and the few for the many. I was never a Star Trek fan, but I'm aware of that scene, and I know the metaphor that Spock stood for. What would happen if a race of conscious, intelligent creatures that had morals and values, or whatever set us apart perhaps from animals, at least maybe be consciously aware of our created values. What would happen if we took rationality to the extreme and we became so logical that we forgot what life's all about? That's kind of the fear in a lot of sci-fi, that even if we do everything properly and we have a happy utopian society, it would be boring as hell, and that people would never know what life's really about and just kind of fade into obscurity and lose what they would call the will to live. And I don't know, it's something to ponder. It's always something to consider. But when I was thinking about people's interests in so many irrational things, it's taken me down so many paths. People believe in all kinds of strange, irrational things. I mean, I've looked into, and I'm not saying that they're not all correct. When I say irrational, I mean things that seem irrational, like even multiverses. Even though mathematicians say that, well, there are multiple universes, it still seems irrational to the human mind as the way we perceive the world. Simulation theory, that so many, quote, scientists, or experts, claim that they believe in, 95% certainty that simulation theory is true because this math shows that we're probably living in a simulation. Honestly, don't care what the math says. I don't think that living in a simulation, if it's no different than living a real life, then this is all we know. It doesn't tell us anything about the bigger picture. It's kind of like the God question. Who created God? God was always there. Well, then everything's circular. Then nothing had a beginning. And these arguments go on and on. But even though we believe in things that we know to be irrational, we still stand up for them quite often. Now, it's a lonely path when you decide you don't want to stand up for things you can't prove. I actually want to make it clear that even though I think the following things are irrational that I'm going to list, there's some rationality built into them. Religion would be at the top of the list. It's not that it's irrational to believe in a higher power. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's irrational to believe, in my opinion, that one group of people wrote down the truth and that all the other groups are completely wrong and that there's only one path to truth. We believe in even the Big Bang Theory on the opposite end. There are many mathematical models that show that the Big Bang Theory is incomplete and doesn't make sense and doesn't work. We want to believe that something the size of a pinhead exploded and created the universe, but that doesn't answer any questions either. Where did the pinhead come from? What happened before that? What is it expanding into? The bigger questions are often ignored, to the detriment of these small little theories people want to hold, because people have kind of a hubris about them, all of us, that we want to discover and invent things and understand things. But science, years ago, I'm a big science buff, I enjoy science. I support scientific theory. I think that doing experiments and carrying them out and proving something is wonderful. Great way to understand the world. I don't see it as separate from religion at all. In fact, it complements religion, and it was religious people who invented science. It wasn't meant to be a competitive, something that would marginalize others. But science has such hubris that now we have something called the science, which completely ignores the fact that science means an ongoing new discovery about truths and facts and statistics, that people dig in their heels, and it becomes almost like a religion itself. But people believe in aliens, Bigfoot, gods, ghosts, demons, spirits, gnomes, phantasms, alternate realities, reptilians, shapeshifters, black-eyed children, fairies, curses, gateways, orbs, channelers, gurus, prophets, Atlantis, palm readers, crystals, vortexes, telekinetics, healers, and even Reiki. And my question is this: how much is placebo and how much is real? Now, the human mind can heal. The human mind can do amazing things to the body if you believe something works. This is how faith healing works. Because many people make the same claims by going to somebody who's a well-known fraud, somebody who says that, that they do it for the money. It's not that all healers have bad intentions. My bigger question is, why do we believe that other people can heal us better than we can ourselves? It's interesting because I think that maybe the practice of self-healing is something that we can kind of subcontract out to others if it's not our speciality. And I'm not saying that it's something that isn't real. I've looked a lot into like voodoo, and it's amazing what people can do if they truly believe that the thing's going to work. But it's just like hypnotism. If you're overly rational, you can't be hypnotized. And a lot of these placebo effects, by taking sugar pill or doing a ritual, won't work on you if you're too rational and you're too skeptical. And this is the category that I sit in, and that's why I'm talking about it. Because I honestly sometimes am disappointed that I am so rational in my mind, like overly critical, maybe analytical, that I can't really dig in my heels and believe one thing or another. I'm always moving and fluid on these ideas. Therefore, there's no way I can see myself really taking on a religion. I just don't think any of them fulfill the real needs for self-improvement and becoming the best person you can, which is ultimately on, say, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which you start with your physiological needs, and as long as you're fed and you're clothed and then you've taken care of your problems in life, the stressors, you can move on up to self-improvement, and eventually the pinnacle, which is self-actualization, which not a lot of people achieve. Now, I wanted to go down a list of things that for self-actualization. The thing is, once you reach that state, that whole list of things just falls away and doesn't matter anymore. The list of beliefs, the religions, the aliens, the Bigfoots, the fairies, the kids. I realized this because I have always been a conspiracy nut back from even the mid-90s, and spent a decade looking into all these things, and I'm still fascinated with how much bullshit's out there that people don't realize that's true and false in the conspiracy world. But really, the bigger question I stepped back and asked was, does it matter? And why are people so even religious about what they believe in the conspiracy realm? And I realized it's because so many people haven't found their self-actualization, their ability to recognize who they are and to not have to attach to a group. To be able to believe one thing but not have to believe everything. And that's something, as a person who's commented in a lot of, say, conspiracy groups over the years and read a ton of forums, I realized that, so many people just are looking for a fight or have dug in their heels, want to blame everybody else for the world's problems. And it's easy to fall into this kind of fairyland thinking, fairy tale thinking, And I'm not harping on people who believe, who are out there exposing real problems in the world. That's not my intention. But rather to say that you have to question whether it's worth your time. And what I've observed is a lot of people really choose to focus on over positivity. Some people just focus on nothing but the negative. And the problem is that the algorithm, the internet, the way that this works, just take even YouTube for an example. If all you look up is History Channel, Ancient Aliens, you're going to get a lot more of that. And along with that will come Bigfoot, Flat Earth, everything else. And after a while, you'll believe that that's all anybody's talking about. It will look like the whole internet's just full of it. Everything about conspiracies and aliens. Open up a new tab and sign in as a different user, and you're like, oh my God, whoa, wait a minute. And the same thing with politics and everything else. We are really catered to what we want to believe. And so this brings me to the big question is, how important is it that we're rational? Does it matter if we join groups and believe things that aren't true? And does that actually maybe benefit us as people to believe in a fairy tale if it makes us comfortable inside? Because science, I'll tell you, science has limits. And what I've seen with secularism is that the lack of belief in a higher power for a lot of people, it turns them into kind of nutcases that are looking for something to look up to, whether it be authority or, following the rules, creating their own moral values. And pretty soon you start to question, why are people so angry? What are they really looking for? Because ultimately, all of us struggle. We have ups and downs. We suffer sometimes. I try to have a good day. Some moments are better than others, I'm not self-critical, because being overly self-critical, you don't get anything accomplished. But I have many different beliefs that I have conflicting thoughts about that I try to work out on a daily basis, like we probably all do. But I think that the only way that secularism breeds discontent is if a person doesn't find a path to work on. And you need to find a path to work down. And all of us are seeking questions about life. Sometimes people take rationality to the point where it becomes a religion all in itself. The idea that nothing should be believed unless you can take it apart. And I want to make this clear. What I mean is that there are things that we can know with scientific means. Then there are the things that we can't. That might, as the wind blows. A psychedelic experience can allow your mind to see and relate to and understand things that you can't even begin to comprehend. And in that moment, all you can think is, wow, my brain is capable of seeing more than is really there. And then you start to question yourself later. Was that just a hallucination? Or did I really feel that? Is the connection between mankind real? Is there really a psychic bond between people? Look, we've come a long way, and science still hasn't really been able to explain a lot of the experiences, like near-death experiences, and people claiming to have past lives. Some of them are outlandishly crazy and obviously bullshit, and some of them are very believable. But the fact remains that we still don't understand how any of that works. I believe that there's a higher kind of plane of existence and understanding that perhaps maybe some monks have achieved. Maybe people have been able to get to that point, to where they can just know what people need. And a lot of the gurus and that people have gone to, and the shamans, they claim to be able to read people and understand. It's just like when you can just feel that a friend's not doing well, or just something just doesn't feel right. You feel a vibe in a room. If you're overly rational, you will discount all of this. You won't believe in anything. And all the things on the list that I named, I'm still open to. I do believe our planet may have been visited by UFOs and perhaps alien beings. Or maybe they always lived here. Or maybe not. I also believe that there are some sort of energies that can be perhaps a residual energy from the past that comes forth as like ghosts or the illusion of ghosts. Don't understand how it works. And I also don't understand how an exorcism can actually get rid of a demon, other than the placebo fact that a person believes that they've had an exorcism. And that fits into that whole category of healing and healers. Therefore, I think we need these things. I think that we need things like voodoo. I think we need things like faith healing, when done properly and for the right reasons, and not for money. Because of the simple reason that even though it may be just like homeopathic remedies, which I know are placebo, I mean, they are diluted millions of times. They're not even the real product. It's basically water. So the fact that they even work for people shows that people's mind over matter is the most important thing. And there's also the Nocebo Effect, which means even if you take a medicine that's supposed to work, if you don't think it's going to work, it might not work. We live in a strange world. It's hard enough to understand things on a scientific level, but there's something else going on where the brain is connected to this other reality where we can perceive things that we can't explain, that where we can't use rational thought to explain it. And this is why the other day I was thinking just of how absurd people are, when we get together in groups or when we're alone in the things that we believe. And maybe there's no privacy anymore. Everything we've done is completely documented. Therefore, artificial intelligence might end up analyzing all of our intentions, all of our desires one day, putting all of this together from a supercomputer, and instead of killing us like, Terminator and Skynet, maybe it would save us from ourselves. I thought, what a ridiculous thing to think. But then I thought, well, not necessarily. It's complicated, the reason I believe that, or I think positive about AI in that sense. Like, we can't seem to figure out what we want to believe, what we think is true, and even when we're faced with the facts and we're given all the facts, we still don't believe it if it doesn't relate to what we want to believe. That makes it complicated. At any rate, I'm out of here. Thanks for listening, and I appreciate y'all for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. It's very smoky and dim. It was supposed to be a sunny day today, but it's just dull out there and gray and actually red because of the smoke blowing in. And it's really windy. We're going down to Portland to see a Roger Waters concert tonight. We're taking the kids, so that should be fun. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, yeah, I hope y'all have something to look forward to as well. And bye now.